Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. My name is MC and you're watching SLE Canada, the place to be for international students who want to study, settle, and explore their career here in Canada. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and like this video so you never miss any videos I upload every single week. And also thank you for all those people who attended our webinar last night. It was a success again. And if you missed that webinar, I have posted the replay of that video in our community. So if you're not my subscribers, you won't be able to access it. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Again, to those people who registered and did not make it, I have sent you the link. So make sure you check your email and you will be able to watch the replay of that webinar. So we will be having another webinar. I don't have the date yet, but I'll keep you guys updated. So in today's video, we are going to have another success story of one of our international students here in Canada. Do you know, guys, that international students are paying 3 times more than a domestic student? I know it's expensive, but our guest today, Abigail, she is now paying a domestic rate. Do you want to know how? Then keep on watching. Hi, Abby and Mark. Welcome to my channel.
Hi, MC. Hello.
So now, I know that you guys will share some helpful tips. Before we move on to that, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for taking this time and sharing your experience to all our viewers. You know, you don't know, like, you guys are making a huge impact right now. Even in my PR application, Abby was one of the people that helped me through my journey. And I did a DIY style application too for my PR, but I could, you know, even though I did it DIY, I would not take that credit to myself. I'm always grateful for this kind of people like you guys. Like sharing experiences. I'm really happy that you guys will be able to share this journey to all, like, thousands of international students. You know, you might be able to save someone else's application just by giving a few tips, right? So let's move on.
All right.
Just want to ask you some question about your background, and then I want to know, what do you do right now and how did you come here to Canada?
First, so I'm Abigail Young. I am currently a student at SAIT and I'm taking up business administration, major in human resources. I'm actually on my second to the last semester, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm working for Rosen as a data analyst. And yeah,
And
I've been with Rosen for about
almost 2 years.
almost 2 years now. 2 years on January.
But what is your background back home? You came from the Philippines, right?
Yes, I came from the Philippines. I have 5 years experience with the oil and gas industry
Yeah.
as an engineer. Well, I finished chemical engineering back home. So yeah.
And then how about Abby? Did you work in the Philippines? So what did you do there?
Yeah, I did. I was working with, Mark and I worked together for 4 years. For me,
Yeah,
we actually met. Yeah, we met at work. in
Really?
Petron. Yeah.
Workplace romance.
Workplace romance. Yeah,
Okay.
so we met at Petron. So I worked there for about 4 years, I think.
Yes.
And I was an engineer as well, but in a different field because Mark is more technical and
Yes.
I'm more on
More on the business side.
more on the business side of the
Like the
company.
management side of,
Yeah,
okay.
because my degree is industrial engineering.
Yes.
So yeah, it's more of the management side.
But why did you pick Alberta? Is it because of the oil and gas background of Mark?
Technically, because
Do you have,
I
do
think
you have relatives in Alberta?
we don't
No.
have any relatives in Alberta. Like when we came here, we only knew one person.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
have
it. Godmother. Yeah, your godmother.
Yeah,
lives
my
here.
godmother is here, so that's the only person that we
We
knew.
knew here in Calgary or even
Calgary.
in Alberta because my family lives in British Columbia. Yeah, but we chose, I think, Calgary because when we were looking for a place, like, we want something related to the industry that we work with, which
Yeah.
is oil.
Yeah, when we were in the Philippines, we wanted to look for a place where we could apply our
Experiences
experiences at the time, but when we got here, it's not the same. So,
Yeah, oil is so down right now.
yeah.
So
So we had to look
Yeah, I
for
agree on that.
other
It's
options.
not like before, right?
before, yeah,
It
it's really
changed.
far different. They said,
Mhm.
and I think one consideration why we chose Calgary is that I think Calgary is one of the pet friendly cities in Canada. Yeah, because we were considering that one because we love pets. We love dogs, to be honest. So I think Calgary is one of it, one of the
I
cities.
think everywhere in Canada they're pet friendly. Even here on the island, we have I think 4 pets in the office. We bring them. I work with them. So
Yeah, that's cute.
yeah, I don't know in Alberta if you can bring pets, but here
Yeah, I think
they're
I
very
think in my company, some people bring their pets in the office, and they're just roaming around. You can pet them if you
yeah.
want.
yeah, it's cute actually.
But like I think that's one of the I think good strategy, right? You pick the right um province which is suitable to your background, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like as compared to other provinces like Toronto, Vancouver, like they're more expensive as compared to Calgary. And
Mhm.
Calgary is already a city. Like you have everything in Calgary. Like you have the hospital, you have Filipino market,
Mhm.
Asian superstores, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
I think it's the fourth largest city
city.
as well in Canada altogether. So I think it's not the biggest one,
Yeah.
but you have everything here. So
And I mean, what I like about Alberta, that's why we chose it as well. Like for the taxes, like we're only paying 5%. We don't have any
Yes.
sales
yeah,
tax,
there's that too. And
and minimum salary is quite high. I think before it
Mhm.
was highest, but I'm not sure like for other provinces if they're
I think
already paying.
yeah, I think Alberta has the highest. You get $15 an hour, right?
An hour, yeah,
yeah, and
Yeah.
at the same time, the health card
it's
is also
free.
free. It's 100% subsidized by the province.
So like when we came here, like day after, we can already apply for it. Like we don't have to wait. I think for other provinces, like you have to wait. Like there's a waiting period for health card, which I'm not sure. But here in Alberta, even you're a temporary resident, you can immediately apply for it.
I think in Nova Scotia, since I lived there before, if I came with a partner, you get the health card for free. So in New Brunswick, it's the same. If you're a single applicant and then you came as an international, so
Yeah,
you get the free health card right away. But I think for big cities like Toronto or
yeah,
here in Vancouver, you pay for your health card.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
MSP. Yeah, my mom
yeah.
told me about it. Like they have to pay for MSP.
yeah.
Yeah, so different province they have different rules when it comes to health insurance. Yeah.
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 That's
So
good then. So you guys are now a permanent residents, right?
Yeah, we are like it's our fourth month.
Yes. So
yeah,
now you're still in school
I
and you're now
am.
paying a domestic rate.
Yeah, domestic
which
rate.
is
Like
3 times lower.
yeah, 3 times lower. Like I'm only paying
Yes.
about 2,000 plus Canadian dollars as compared to 9,000 before when I was an international student, which is great.
Yes. So that's why I'm curious. How did you do that? So give us the tips that that will be helpful for us to achieve that kind of goal. I want to like pay domestic rate as well, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
another perk for that one is you can get loans as
and
well.
grants, which is actually nice in Alberta because I didn't know it before. Like I just want to share, like here in Alberta, you get loan and grant, wherein your grant can already pay for your loan. So basically, seems like you're studying for free. You can only apply for it if you are a permanent resident or a
Citizen.
citizen. But if you're an
Oh.
international student, you cannot apply for it.
Yeah,
So like once we get the permanent residency, once we get our PR, like after a week, I immediately apply.
and I think you're given, for example, your loan is 7,000. You get, I think 30% of that is a grant, which you don't have to pay back to the government. So you only pay
Oh,
70 or 60%.
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's good
It is.
then.
It is.
It's
Like,
really convenient as well.
yes. So that's what I told Mark. Like, seems like my education is already free. Because if I have grant, I will just pay it for the loan that I had.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'm excited to hear your tips. So let's move on to tip number one.
So for the first tip that I have is keep your eye on the goal. I think it's pretty
Mhm.
straightforward. Like in our case, like we are so determined, like that we wanted to move to Canada. So I think during the process that we have, like we're just thinking like we really want to move, like whatever happens, like we're gonna move to Canada, even though we have a stable life in the Philippines. Our mindset is like we want to be in Canada. Right.
Yeah.
Because I think like for other people, like they will tell you, oh, if you go to Canada or in other country, like you have to start from the bottom, like you have to work in like for example like McDonald's and stuff like that. So like for other people, like they're kind of discouraged to move to another country, right? But for us it's not the case. Like whatever happens, like whatever jobs that we have, like it's fine for us as long as we're in Canada.
Yes, and also like if you started from general job, doesn't mean that you'll be there forever. There's always
Hmm.
room for growth, and it's the matter of like how would you work on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd share my experience as well. I started with Rosen as a technician, which is
Mhm.
a manual work type job.
Yes.
And they recognized my
Skills,
skills and my
experience,
experiences. And when a job opened up for a data analyst, my plant manager
recommended you.
recommended me for that job. So well, you find employers that will appreciate your work ethic and your work experiences, and you'll get your opportunities. You might start from the bottom, but
You'll
you'll
never
always have
know.
that opportunity.
Like just to add, like for Mark's experience, it's really
Mm.
far different because he was an engineer back home in the Philippines. Like he was a supervisor, and then when we
Yeah,
his first job here in Canada, like he's doing a manual work. Like it's really far from what he was doing back home in the Philippines. But eventually, like after a few months, I think it was like
after
probably
I think 6 months
6 months.
of working there, there was an opening, and my manager was pleased with my work, and he said that, oh, if you want to work full time, because
Permanent.
at first I had the contract,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
I was not a permanent employee of the company. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
only
I had a
for
8 month contract
9 months. Nine
or
months
nine.
contract
Yeah.
only.
So
Oh,
then
Yeah,
after that, I was given a permanent position as a data analyst. So that
helps
also helped our journey to
for
become
PR.
PR.
so that's not actually a full-time job right away. So you
Yeah,
work, yeah.
It's actually a full-time job, but it's not permanent. It's only for a nine month contract.
it's a
Temporary,
temper
basically, temp job.
Did you use that work experience for your
that absolutely that the NOC for that one was a C
NOCB.
B
B, yeah,
B I think.
NOCB.
Yeah, B, I think, as a technician, a chemical production technician. And when I transferred that, I
To
did that for 6 months. Then I transferred to a data
data
analyst position, which is an NOCA.
A.
Mhm.
We use NOC, that both NOCs for our PR
Yeah,
application.
because you can
Okay.
accumulate your Canadian experience regardless if it's you started from NOCA or you started with NOCB. Regardless,
Yeah,
like you can just accumulate
Yes.
as long as you work for 1 year.
yeah.
Yes. So a lot of international students are not aware about this. That in CEC Canadian Experience, guys, you would think that you need to complete one NOC code for the
Yeah,
entire year. They didn't
No.
know that you can have combination of 1170.
yeah,
Yeah,
Now it's A0B.
yeah. You
That's
yeah.
can have a combination,
That's
but
exactly what we did.
But unlike like if you're gonna claim points for foreign work experience, you only have one NOC.
one.
You only have
Yes.
one NOC.
But did you get the job right away? Like when you came here in Canada?
This one I got interviewed, I think,
First week.
first or second week of January, and I started. After that, I started it towards the end of January.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
about 3 weeks only.
Yeah, the processing is like 2 to 3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks only.
Okay. Then let's move on to your second tip.
Second tip, do your own research. Yeah, it's really,
That's
I
a
think
good
for
tip.
me it really helps me a lot. At
Yes.
times like I really don't rely to other people because I want to know first, like before I ask
Yes.
questions, right?
Everybody's situation is different,
Mhm.
Yes.
so everybody's journey is gonna be unique at the
Yes.
same time. So you have to tailor fit all the information to your situation.
Yes.
So
That's a
that's where the
yeah.
research comes in.
And I think just to add, like when I started the SPOWP journey, I think there was only one group in Facebook. Well, I'm not familiar with the others, but there's only one group in Facebook that I can post my questions and stuff like that. So I think before I was still using Canada Visa website, yeah, it
Yeah,
really helps a lot. Like like you can really ask questions because it's not only for Filipinos, right? Like a lot of
Yes.
nationalities are also posting in that website.
yeah,
So it really helps me a lot like just to do my own
yeah.
research.
And sometimes you find some other people that almost have the same situation as you. So you sometimes use what they have experienced your
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah, so I think it's important like if you try to research on your own rather than like just I mean if you haven't like for example like if you haven't know anything like you will just ask without even researching first because I mean you will be overwhelmed with the information if that will happen.
Yes. Like you can ask, but at least ask like quality questions because
Yeah,
you will be judged based on the question that you are asking, right?
Yeah,
Make
and you
sure
will
that
get
you do your research
yeah,
first.
and you will get answers that are not gonna be
reliable.
really helpful to you if you don't know the right questions to ask. If
Like
you don't do your research, then you won't know the right questions to ask.
yeah,
I think
you
we're going to the third tip,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually that's the third tip that we have. Like it's kind of
Okay, that's
related.
good. It's a good transition for us.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the third tip,
Yeah,
right?
tip that I have is ask the right questions.
Oh,
Like what we were saying, like it's like if you do your own research, you will be able to ask the right questions. Because if you able to ask the right questions, you will find solutions to your own problem, right?
yes,
Unlike
yes,
unlike just asking questions like I mean simple stuff that you can already search it in Google. I mean
yes.
but I do understand like for other people, like I do understand like especially like if you're starting like you don't
Mhm.
know where to begin like the first instinct that you have is oh there's already someone I know who already came to Canada so I can just ask him oh how did you get there.
The problem I see with that one is that, like what I said, the situation is unique for everyone. So what applied to this person
May
will
not
not
be.
necessarily apply to you.
Yes. Like some insightful experience will be helpful, but then again, it's your responsibility, it's your accountability to research on it and check if it's that applicable to your situation. That's
Exactly.
true.
Yeah, and I think the effect of that, like if, for example, like for other people, if you found out like, oh, they got rejected because of this and that, you will also feel down and you will not
That's
go on with your journey
that's
anymore because
true.
you feel like,
Yeah,
oh, this person already rejected, so I think I will also be rejected, stuff like that. I think I appreciate people who are sharing their refusals because from there, that's where you can learn like, oh, why they did why their application was refused. So from there you will ask your question I mean you will ask yourself like oh their application was refused because of this
Mhm.
condition for example so you will need to find solution to address that immediately.
yeah,
Yeah, and also, you know what? I just want to add something on your tip. When I was doing my PR application, so Canada Visa Forum has a lot of stuff, right?
I
Different
agree.
opinions and stuff. So what happened to me, if I see something like, oh, this guy did plan A, and then the other guy plan B, and then the other one plan C, I get confused.
Yeah, it's really confusing.
yeah,
Yeah. So
And
when you're
sometimes
asking yeah,
mhm.
so when you're asking questions to someone, make sure that you're only like selecting few people that has a similar case just like you. And then just like stick to that, not ask like 20 people because you're giving yourself a headache.
yeah. You're gonna get different answers.
Yeah, you will just
Yeah,
confuse yourself.
Yeah, because
true.
exactly because their situations are all unique, so they're gonna have all these different answers and different strategies. So
Yeah, don't make it too hard for yourself.
Yes. And then make your own judgment, right? Is it
Yeah.
applicable to you? Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
I think that's the importance of researching. You can make your own judgment out of their
yes.
answer.
Okay. So your next tip would be what's your next tip?
My fourth tip would be try not to be satisfied. Like it's well for me because I'm that kind of person. Like I love to explore. Like for example, if this person answered me like this, I'm not contented with that. Like I try to explore which really helps me a lot. Like I'm not satisfied.
I think we have a perfect example for that one.
Which one?
Yeah.
I think when we first heard about
Oh yeah,
the situation that we can apply here to Canada, we got a tip
other
from a
people.
family friend.
They said you can immediately
Yeah.
go to Canada or migrate by just studying English.
Yeah.
That's what we
What?
first knew. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, so we got in touch with this consultant
at
that,
first.
and what he said was, you can definitely go to here to Canada and work and stuff if you study
English.
ESL or
ESL, I think. Like, because I don't know, like, literally, I don't know anything about student
at first,
visa
yeah,
before.
At first,
'Cause
yeah.
what we were eyeing was federal skilled,
yeah.
express entry. I think that's what we were eyeing at first. But I think
Unfortunately, we didn't have the
enough
points
Mm.
to.
we're kind of close, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Mhm.
sitting at 438 and points that
Oh,
they,
that's
yeah,
not bad.
Yeah, the only thing that we found increase our points was to
study.
study. So
Or to
that's
gain
when,
Canadian
or
experience.
to gain Canadian experience, but you can't gain Canadian experience
If you're not in Canada.
So,
It is. It's
so,
true, but
Yeah, so
so that's when we had the idea of studying here first, getting the necessary experiences, education, and that's when we heard about that consultant. And what he said was we have to start with ESL first before
mm,
we can
before
we can jump into diploma programs.
before we can go to any other
And then
programs.
that consultant also told me like I can only apply to BCIT.
what?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I was like,
That was so.
like for me personally, like I don't want to live in Vancouver because it's really expensive for me or
Yeah.
for
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
So I was like, is it really true that I cannot apply to other school? So that's where I felt like, oh, I'm not satisfied to his answers. Like I know this is not something that I know that it's not something that it should be done like that.
And at the same time, I think we had our doubts because, well, being from the Philippines, we had our secondary language is English.
English. I was like, why do we have to take ESL again? Like we're gonna spend about $5,000 just for that before we can really become a student, right? So we're not really satisfied with that. That's where I entered the Canada visa. I tried to join other groups in Facebook, and that's where I found everything.
Yeah.
So I think going back to that tip, like don't be satisfied. Like if they just tell you like, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. I mean, just don't be satisfied. You have to do your own research. You have to explore. You have to check what other possibilities you may have and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really helps a lot, not only for our SP, student permit and
Yeah.
OWP. It really helps even in our PR application.
That happened to me when I was in Dubai. I don't know anything about Canada, so I was like eyeing for express entry as well. And then I went to that agency, and then they calculated my score, and
Mhm.
then when I look, and then they told me, oh, I think I had like 412
Yeah.
during that time, and then they said, oh, you can sign up now because your score is good enough. And then
Yeah.
I didn't sign up. I did my research. I researched everything, and then I saw the draw. It's not even close, you know.
Yeah.
That's why are you asking me to sign up? Like the draw right now is this. Like I went back to that agency and then told them straight in their face that, hey, you're asking me to sign up, and then the draw right now is 400 plus like 50. I won't even get in, so I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna
It's
sign up.
really too
Yeah,
good to
so
be true.
just don't rely with someone else when it comes to your application.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even you pay them 100,000 or 2 grand, it's still your responsibility.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of
How I
the
wish
day,
it can be that easy.
If it were that easy, then everybody would be here in Canada already.
Yeah.
yeah, at
We
the
just
end of
have
the
to work
day, it's
out.
still your life and your money.
Number 5, plan out your possibilities.
Wow, I like this one.
Yeah, number 5. Because in our case, even before we started, like what I said, like even before we started the SPOWP journey, like we
Yeah.
were eyeing for federal skills. So we thoroughly research about how to be invited. So what we did is like we even have I think it was Excel.
We even had um, to forecast the draws for the upcoming months.
I
I
have
think
that too.
everybody that has done their research would try to do a forecast, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah,
So
we
yeah,
even forecasted.
yeah. So well, like what we said, we were sitting at 438, and the draws were 440, 441, and based on the previous year draws, at some point it will go down, but it never did.
We
So
tried to analyze the system, but we
yeah,
we didn't succeed.
yeah, we didn't have any luck on that one, but the only way to increase your points is
If you
if you
reach bandwidth 9, I
yeah,
think.
if you perform well in your IELTS
IELTS.
or English proficiency test. Yeah, but unfortunately, I only got the highest I got was
9 or 8.5.
8.5, I think. Bandwidth
Almost
8.5.
there, you
Yeah,
know?
I think I got a 7
Writing.
on writing
Yeah,
on the
Yeah.
writing test, and the cutoff points for that one is 7.5. So
yeah, that's
well,
the
I
only
tried to
part.
take it 3 times, and it's the same for every time. So I realized that maybe this is my limit. So maybe we have to look for, maybe
For
we have to look
other
for other options to increase our points.
So that's where we get into studying in Canada, because we knew like if I study, I can bring my partner, because during those times like we're not yet married,
Yes.
we're just common law partner. So
Yes.
that's where we explore about studying in Canada.
Yeah.
And after that, like we're still not contented. Like for example, like after I study, what will be our pathway? So even before we came here, we already knew what to do.
Yeah,
Like
we already have
plans.
plans and
Mhm.
scenarios where we can where our goal will be met.
Yeah, we even
Yeah.
wrote it in Microsoft Word. Like I think we have four. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how OCI was. We had four scenarios. Like for example, like scenario one, like if Mark will apply for CEC, and scenario two, like if I will try for PGWP. Scenario three is like
Yeah, always have different plan A, B up to Z if possible.
it gives you an overview of the things that you
Yeah.
really have to prioritize. Like for our case, like what I told Mark is whatever job you get, as long as you get
Zero
NOC
AB.
080,
Yeah.
you should aim for that. That's why when he had a contract job, I was like, okay, just apply for it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
because when I
Yes.
got that temporary contract for 8 months, we decided to take it even if it's not permanent.
Permanent, yeah.
We decided to take it because you get the experience, and
It will help
it
you for your
you will
PR.
be gathering, like, for if I finish that 8 month contract and I get laid off, I still have that 8 month experience with an NOC
Mhm.
B um, job.
Yeah, so you really have to plan out all the possibilities or options that you have.
Yeah.
You cannot stick with
Yeah.
one, because especially right now, I think immigration is quite changing because of the situation. So you
Yeah.
should be ready, like whatever happens.
Yeah, I think we have the scenario as well that what if I don't get a job that's zero AB and I only get a job at the
Zero
or
C.
NOCC.
Uh-huh.
We had a scenario for that one as well, where Abby will be getting her PGWP, and I think she will be getting her PNP
Yes.
as well. And that's the I think that's one of the worst case scenarios that we had at the time.
And we're
But
also rushing for it because our IELTS will expire this.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's only valid for 2 years, right?
yeah.
So it will
right,
expire. I think it will expire on
it
2020
expired last
August.
August.
Yeah. So we were really rushing our PR because we don't want to take another
I
IELTS.
don't want to take it again.
Yeah, imagine
I,
taking it for
Your English
exam.
will be
I don't
like
know if I'm
expired
gonna get
already for the fourth time. I'm not
yeah,
gonna do it again. You
yeah.
spend a lot for the IELTS.
We did, because we want, like what I said, like the first tip, like keep your eye on your goal. So,
Yeah.
whatever, like if you really have to spend this amount of money, just go for it because you really want to be in Canada.
Yes. So now you tip number, we're now number 6, right?
Yes.
You said stay organized.
Yeah, because like for us, like our dynamic is really good because Mark is more intellectual, I would say, than I am, but I am more organized than him. So
Okay, it's like yes, that's a good combination.
yeah, it's really a good dynamic for us. So if there is stuff that I really don't understand and I want him to think of it, like I will just tell him, okay, we need to do this and that, and on that part I will organize it.
And I don't have the patience with organizing documents. So and stuff. So you can ask me to think about things and understand things, but
Not
not
organizing stuff.
organizing stuff.
What we did is just online applications. We never do paper based. So it's very important. Like if you're gonna apply for online, you have to rename your file properly. Unlike, because if you're doing schoolwork, sometimes I just rename my file as
One,
homework
two,
1 2 3 4 5, homework 1 2 3, like right. But
Yeah.
if when it comes to your PR application or any SP or OW application, you should be organized. Because if you're gonna upload it, it will be hard for you to find the file, right?
Yes,
yeah,
It
that's
will
true.
take time.
yeah.
And at the same time, like just to share with our PR experience, we received our invitation to apply ITA last Feb 5, but then we were able to submit our complete application, PR
A week
application
after, I
a
think.
week after. That's how
Oh, you
our
guys are like all set because you
yeah,
have
we
Yeah,
all the
already
documents
said like
ready.
we already have folders in our computer, like, oh, these are the files that we have to submit. Because what I did, like, I tried researching already for PR, like what are the documents needed, what are the
Mhm.
sections that I have to put the documents on. So it's already clearly labeled. It's actually set.
yeah.
So we're
It's
just waiting for
already
the
compressed.
it is. It's already compressed. Like we did even before we applied,
I
right?
think what helped with that one is our scenarios that we were mentioned earlier. I think
Mhm.
we already had scenario A on track, so the
Mhm.
documents were already prepared beforehand. Before we
Yeah.
even got our invite, everything's prepared.
Actually, even before we got here in Canada, we already have the
I think
Yeah,
ECA.
that's a good one because you tried to immigrate directly, right? So you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
all your papers ready.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and we already knew that once we apply for PR, we will be needing reference letter. So even
Yeah.
before we left for Canada, we already asked our employer for reference letter, for certificate of employment.
Yeah.
We're really prepared even for the birth certificate, I think. And even for the NBI, like, because it's
The police
really
clearance.
police clearance, it's really
Mhm.
hard to get it here in Canada. Like, it will be easier in the Philippines, right? So even before we get the invites, like I already researched how to get it. I asked some people who already done the
Mhm.
steps. So even I think it was December when I got the police clearance in the Philippines, because we knew
Mhm.
that we will get invites by February, so it's still valid.
Number 7. We're in number 7.
Oh, number 7, what I wrote here is maximize technologies or resources. Like what we were saying, even a lot of times before, since internet is it's not really free, but you can everyone is using internet, I would assume, right?
Yes.
So just maximize it. Like if you have questions, ask Google. If you wanna try to find out things, just Google it, right? So I think
GMP. It's GMP. Google
yeah,
Google.
yeah, I know. so I think if you want to be successful in your PR applications, you have to maximize whatever resources you have. I think that's
Mhm.
really important. I mean, you have to be cautious or you have to stay vigilant because there are a lot of fake news or fake information
Yes.
out there. So,
Yeah.
oh, number 8 would be, if you are in doubt, ask. But
Okay.
I would just say this one: if you've already done a lot of research, thorough research, like if you've really exerted effort, because even in my case, like even though I tried to research a lot, like I exerted my best effort, there are still things that I am not sure of. So what
Yes.
I did is, like, since I joined a Facebook group or Canada Visa forum, I just ask questions. And there's this funny thing. I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
yeah, I just
yeah.
want to share this. It's really a fun experience for Mark and I, because when we
Mhm.
joined Canada Visa, because I think I had questions about it, about our SP. Yeah, I
Study
think it
permit.
was our
Mhm.
SP and OWP, like, because we
Yep.
applied for SPS, and I was expecting that the result will come out on in 20 days, right? But in our
Yes.
case, we had to wait for a month. So what
Yes.
I did, I asked in Canada Visa forum, like, this is our situation. Is there any other people who are experiencing this?
The
Like
same thing.
the same thing, like our SDS. And then my username, I think that time, is Visa applicant. So that's
So
my
it's like a generic
yeah,
username.
generic username.
And
Okay.
And I was kind of paranoid because I was like, oh, it's already a month and we still haven't gotten our results. So
Yeah.
I asked, and then
So she was panicking and she was pressuring me to produce the visa already.
yeah.
So what I did was I tried to do my own research,
Mm.
and I went to Canada Visa and I found this post by this visa applicant user. And I asked her because I when I read it, I read that we had the exact same situation, and I asked her, so how goes your application? And after a day or two, I didn't get a response, and I
Mhm.
shared it with Abby,
Yeah,
and she said that post sounds familiar.
familiar.
So so we checked her account, and apparently I was asking her.
In the Canada Visa forum.
Yeah, it
You
was
did
her.
a lot of research. You even answered your own question. Like,
Exactly.
you know what? We're the same, Abby. I'm so paranoid too with my PR application. My student, yeah, my study permit was kind of like 50, but my PR
Yeah,
90%. I reached 90%. I was
yeah.
so paranoid.
For break, right? For PR. I mean, if you ask Mark, like how paranoid I was during our PR,
From the third to the fourth month, I was really stressed out because
yeah, because I want him to give me an
yeah,
answer.
he wanted me to produce the PR card, and I couldn't.
So I joined that group. I even check in. I think EMI Tracker. I even joined EMI Tracker. So I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
person already got his PR approved, and how come ours is not yet?
Maybe
But
something's wrong.
yeah, maybe something is wrong. I was so paranoid, and I told him like, oh, maybe our reference letter or your reference letter, there's a problem. That's
Yeah.
where I mean that it led me actually to call IRCC almost every week. Just to ask like
Yeah,
how come our application is not moving, how come for other people, I mean during those time like
and I guess the takeaway from that one is it's okay to call IRCC
it's
Yes.
okay to
as
ask.
often as you can, but I don't. Well, not every day, of course, but you can
I
call them
think
as often
Abby
as you want.
almost called them every week. Is it
Yeah,
every week?
Yeah, yeah,
Imagine.
after the weekend, I think that I think that helped speed up the process
Yes.
because the file was being opened every time,
every
and
time.
the file was being refreshed and put on at the top of the list, I think.
And imagine I applied for GCMS notes 3 times. Every month I'm applying just to see how it goes.
Yeah, and all those three applications didn't have any
Update.
update. There's no difference
Yeah,
between the first and the third one.
that's where I panic. Like I told Mark, oh, our application is not moving. Maybe there is something wrong. Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to send web form about a new reference letter? Like, did we do something wrong? It's really nerve wracking, I think.
Yeah,
Yes, it is. You know, in my experience too, like I was so paranoid even before I submitted my PR application and after I submitted it. And then like after a while I get like I can't sleep. I was thinking about it. And then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna give a shit about my application for now. I don't wanna read forums
Oh
because
yeah,
I'm getting paranoid. It's not helping me.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
really feel.
I think towards the end of the fourth month, before we got the letter, I think Abby did that. I think you unsubscribed yourself to all these
Yeah,
groups.
I unsubscribed myself. I deleted my WhatsApp, or I left the group because you can see from other people like, oh, they're already approved and yours is not. It's actually adding
Stress,
stress.
unnecessary
It
stress
is.
to
Yes,
me.
it
Yes,
is.
mostly to me.
Yeah, because he was my outlet. Like, how come we don't have the PR? Because we were kind of rushing it because I think we have to pay my tuition fee by August. Because I'm
Oh,
Yeah,
still
now I understand.
so if that happens, like if I don't get my PR yet or our PR yet, I have to pay about 9,000.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I was
And that's
like,
like 9,000. It's not a joke.
it's not a joke. I was like, how can we speed up the process? But like, we don't have any control to on it. Like, we just have to wait. Basically,
Yeah.
just do what you can. Like, if you have questions, Just
Call
ask.
them and then unsubscribe to Canada Visa for once you submitted your PR application. But
Yeah,
still, it's not like you don't care about your application anymore, but at least, give them some time to process your PR,
yeah,
Yeah.
your
that's
document.
where it falls. Like if you have doubt, just ask. And I
Yes.
think if I add like for Mark, like for his NOC 2172, we really had a lot of questions because we're not sure about it. Like if you try to check in the website for the NOC 2172, it seems like it's only valid for IT industries.
It's
It
they
doesn't need to be industry specific.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So even if you have a job that's a different field, but you have the same
Work.
job description and almost the same work that's being done,
It's okay.
yeah, then it's
It's not
okay.
yeah, it's not about the data you are analyzing, right? It's the
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
the actual work that you're
yeah,
doing.
I think Mark has a company lawyer where we can ask immigration specifically.
yeah.
So we just ask because we don't want to jump into conclusion that oh Mark cannot apply for this NOC.
Mm. And also,
Yeah,
like, they're not gonna rely on the name of your designation, right? If you say like data analyst, you will think like IT, but they will check actually the
Job description.
description, not the name. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a job description. The job description is more important. It has to match the NOC that you're
Mm-hmm.
applying for.
but it shouldn't really match 100% because it's gonna be too good to be true. Like
It's
they will,
true.
'cause I think like I kind of research it. Like they said, like if it really matches, like it's just a copy paste version.
Don't copy and paste that the
And then,
NOC
Even like
description.
the sequence, right? You don't
yeah,
have to follow the sequence on the the
like
Yeah,
CTC. Yeah.
you just have to if you copy paste just paste the NOC description,
Yes.
maybe it will cause you red flag. I would assume because how come you're
Yes.
really doing the same thing? Like it's kind of impossible.
or just don't use the same words as what
Yeah,
they're using.
Yes. Rephrase it.
yeah.
Yeah. So now let's move on to number 9. Tip number 9.
Tip number 9. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. I think it's very common.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really common. Like you can hear it everywhere. So I think it really helped us a lot in our PR application because we're ready. I mean, we're ready for whatever the outcome is. I mean, emotionally, I don't think we will be ready, but I think we already have plans. Like if Plan A didn't succeed, we already have Plan B. So what you can do is just hope for the best, especially if you're waiting for your PR. You can only
Yes.
hope for the best, right? And you
Yes.
can just expect for the worst. Like for example, if you get
I think we
rejected,
yeah we had a scenario as well when that if we get refused for the PR application, we already have the documents ready again to reapply the following day.
yeah, that's how
Mhm.
ready we were.
Yeah.
What do you
So
mean? Like, is it gonna be like CEC again? What's your
yeah,
second plan?
easy
Oh,
again, but since if you get refused, right, you get a feedback that this
Why
part
were
of your
you?
application is uh,
They didn't approve it.
yeah,
That part of the
yeah.
application.
So basically, we tried to make build scenarios that what if my NOC is not applicable? What are the other
NOC.
NOCs that I can use for this
oh,
specific job description? So we had those in line as well.
Like in our case, we already have application that is ongoing, but I'm still editing the reference. Not really editing, but I'm still trying to search for the possible NOC that Mark can apply.
Mhm.
But we
yeah.
already have our
Yeah,
application. I mean,
yeah,
PR application.
yeah. That's where we were hoping for the best, but we were prepared as well if the worst happens. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I think it helps as well because if you're prepared, then
you're
you wouldn't
ready.
get depressed if you get refused, or you will be able to maintain your eye on that on your goals if
Yeah,
you're prepared.
you'll be ready.
Yeah. However, you have to retake the IELTS if you get refused.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah, because the our IELTS expired
expire.
last August, so
That's what we were praying,
yeah,
like in case. Good thing it didn't happen, but that's what we were hoping, like in case, like we are really meant to be rejected, like our PR application meant to be rejected. We were hoping that it will be rejected before our IELTS expire.
yeah,
Yeah, me too. Like if I'll get rejected, tell me now. Don't let me
Exactly.
wait for a year.
Exactly.
You know?
It will be easier, like being rejected. For example, after a year, it's really, I mean, it's really painful because you've waited for it, and then
Mhm.
And
yeah,
also
that's
you
what I
have to
told Mark.
wait.
Like, if we will, if we're our application is really meant to be rejected, hopefully we get it early as now.
Yeah, quick and painful.
Yeah.
But good thing you got it the first time.
Yeah, we did.
We're so happy. We're really happy.
Imagine if you don't, what would be like the
Like,
you
when it, I
I
think
cannot imagine it.
I knew that because imagine, like, even I was at work, I'm trying to open my GC key. I was checking, like I was at work, like even I'm working, like my body is at work, my mind is in our PR application. So like I can still remember like what happened. Like after finishing my job, check
Mhm.
my phone immediately because I'm not checking the emails anymore. I'm checking it directly to my GC key, and then I was like, oh, I think it says application updated or profile updated. You can see like from the status. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh my god, what is this? And
Yeah,
then
and I think what happened was she was at work when she knew that we got approved.
Really?
yeah, and I called him and I cried. I was like, oh, we're already approved.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really cried hard. Like I was at the mall crying.
Really?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
she was
Yeah.
then.
yeah, I think I just finished my job that time, and then people are kind of staring at me like, oh, why this girl is crying? But I don't know. Like I called my husband. I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more sleepless nights.
Yeah.
So what is your last tip?
Last tip, I think it's the mother of all tips for me. Like just pray.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
kind of cliche, but I think
Mhm.
that's the most important for me, just to pray. Because, I mean, no one can help you.
Mhm.
Well, if you've done everything that you can, then the only
That's
thing that you can do is pray.
Yeah.
If you did the
You
best
need
you can,
miracle. You need miracle.
yeah, like for Mark and I, we're not really that religious, I must say. Like, we're not
Mhm.
really going to church every Sunday stuff kind of couple. But,
Mhm.
of course, we still pray.
Yes. And also there's nothing you can do after submission of your
yes,
PR.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Instead
So
of going to Canada Visa Forum
Yeah, and stress
and you
yourself.
and be paranoid, then just pray and
yeah,
like pray that everything will go
Go.
well. Yeah, but thank you, Abigail and Mark, for sharing those tips and your journey, your crazy roller coaster journey through your PR. But I learned a lot. Like till now, I still learn, right? And
Yeah, learning never stops.
it's just so funny to reminisce like the
Yeah, look
journey,
back.
right? Like
We're
how.
still looking back. Like,
Mhm.
we never stop looking back. Like, I mean, whenever we see people who got approved, we were like, oh, we were like this before.
Yes,
And
yes,
yeah, we actually appreciate you inviting us because we get to share our experience. And
yes.
we're still an international student, so I mean, your videos actually help as well.
Yeah, so I guess like when I talk to you, like, hey, Abigail, you should share your journey because like not all international students are able to do that, like pay a domestic rate or get the PR even before you graduate, you
Hmm.
yeah,
know? So like sharing these strategies, I would say will help them, prepare, organize, research, and then, don't just rely to other people, but
Do
again,
your own research.
yeah, do your own research and having a good teamwork with your copy with you.
Yeah, it matters actually. It really matters. Like if
yeah,
both of you are supporting each other,
yeah. And it will make things easier. You lift each other up, basically.
Yeah, and having a backup plan
yeah, it's
for
really important.
worst case scenario.
Plan
That's
A to Z. A to Z.
But yeah, thank you for sharing your story, and we'll see you guys next week for another video. And yeah, bye, Abigail, Mark.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.